Hi everyone, Cari here, and in this video we are going to talk about the differences between the PHR and the SPHR. If you're watching this video, you've likely asked yourself a question that my students ask me all the time. Which exam should I take? And we're going to spend just a few moments talking about it, so stay tuned. This question is considered to be a major one. As we know, taking these certification exams are huge investments, and you want to make sure that you are choosing the right exam for you. I am going to walk you through just a few things to consider when thinking about which exam you should take. Tip number one is to look at the eligibility criteria. You can find the eligibility criteria listed on HRCI's website. It focuses on a candidate's years of experience and their education level. While these lists are useful, I caution you to dig a little deeper. Just because you meet the eligibility requirements does not mean that you should automatically choose that exam, and it also does not mean that just because you are eligible that you will pass. Tip number two is to look at what's covered on each exam and the weight of each of those sections. Compare what's covered to your level of experience. For example, candidates interested in the SPHR will find that business management and strategy makes up almost 40% of the exam. You need to consider how much experience and exposure you've had with this topic. It's not uncommon for HR practitioners to have spent 15 to 20 years in an HR function without any exposure to strategic planning activities. I'd strongly encourage you to not base your decision on your years of experience alone. Whenever I am asked this question of which exam should you take, I always reply with, it depends. It depends on not only the years of experience, but also the depth of your experience. The amount of education is another factor that you also want to consider as well. You would have seen this in the eligibility criteria. Do this for each section, but your research doesn't end here. Tip number three is to review the exam content outlines. HRCI has done a great job at outlining what you can expect to see on the exam that you choose. These outlines break out the responsibilities and knowledge requirements that you must understand to be successful on this exam. For example, the exam content outline for PHR candidates states that although business management and strategy is only 20% of your exam, they should have knowledge of missions, visions, and values, while the SPHR candidate should have knowledge of strategic planning, budgeting, and forecasting. I strongly encourage all of my students to take a look at the exam content outline, and I'll be sure to link the exam content outline in the description box below. Also, I want you to remember, don't focus on having to test again. Many people will tell me that they want to go straight to the SPHR because they don't want to sit for multiple tests. This, again, is a personal preference. Can you take the SPHR before taking the PHR? Absolutely. But focus less on having to test again and more on being successful with whichever exam you choose. If you are considering taking a certification exam, it's extremely important to do your research and make sure that you are investing in the exam that best aligns with your experience. If you've been in HR for any amount of time, you'd know that everyone's HR experience is unique. Don't skip out on the research, and I'm sure you'll land in the right place. Are there some other tips that you have that have helped you decide? Drop them in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you. And with that, we'll see you on the next one.